Welcome to Conversations That Make a Difference with your host, Teresa Velardi. We believe that authentic, meaningful, and diverse conversations are the glue that binds us together. Our discussions remind us we have the power to uplift, challenge, stretch, and invite dynamic growth. Are you, like many, feeling like you're flying by the seat of your pants through life? Join us for conversations filled with gratitude, values, abundance, authenticity, and faith. Here's the host of our show, Teresa Velardi.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this special edition of Conversations That Make a Difference. Before we get started with my guests that are here today to celebrate the launch of A Daily Gift of Peace, I have a few things to say. So we're going to start with the Serenity prayer today. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It is, my friends, by God's grace that we are fabulous, blessed, and highly favored, living in our greatness, using our gifts and talents, making a difference in the lives of others with passion and purpose, and all of God's great universe is conspiring in our favor. And we gratefully say, amen. So, people that we have here today have all contributed to this Daily Gift of Peace book. I'm holding it up. I love the cover. Don't you just love the cover? It came out so beautiful. And it is thanks to my childhood friend, Roy Edlin, that we get this beautiful sunrise from the OBX in North Carolina. So let me introduce the woman who wrote the foreword for this and the founder of Voices Against Trafficking, the one and only Andi Buerger. She's an international nonprofit organization. A developer. Voice Against Traffic is that nonprofit, and she's dedicated to ending human trafficking in the U.S. and abroad. She co-founded Beulah's Peace, another nonprofit which served at-risk homeless teens in danger of abuse, trafficking, or other criminally predatory activities. Try and say that 3 times fast. Andi herself is a victim of unspeakable abuse, is highly sought after international speaker and an advocate for those who cannot speak for themselves. Andi's books are available online on Amazon and at Barnes & Noble. Her newest book is Voice Against Trafficking, Courage is Contagious, and you can get that on Amazon and on Barnes & Noble. Andi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to be here with you, Teresa, and everyone else you bring on.
Thank you so much. We want to introduce now Dr. John Falcon, who was born in Cuba and immigrated to the United States with his family at the age of 5 years old. His family overcame atrocities that were committed by Fidel Castro's communist regime. Growing up, he learned that from his parents to stand up for liberty and the truth. He graduated from Lemoyne College in Syracuse, New York, right down the road, and attended Georgetown University Medical School. He completed his residency in emergency medicine at the University of Southern California, Los Angeles County Medical Center. And Dr. John Falcon was a medical officer with the 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment during the Gulf War, and he served 3 years of active duty and 3 years of reserve. He's a recipient of 2 Bronze Stars, 1 for valor, among other awards for his service during the Gulf War. For 35 years, Dr. Falcon has worked as an emergency physician in trauma centers and has educated countless medical students and residents in Charleston, South Carolina, Scranton, Pennsylvania, that's where we are, and Spartanburg, South Carolina, where I just visited recently. He's the author of the upcoming memoir about his experience in the Gulf War, Shelter from the Storm. He's been married to his wife, Deborah Lynn, for 30 years and has helped raise 3 beautiful daughters, Brittany, Danielle, and Sonia. And Dr. John is active in his community on many fronts and still fights for truth and justice. Dr. John, it is a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. You're muted. And we'll go to our other two guests.
We're good now. Thank you so much, Teresa. It's an honor to be here.
You're welcome. It's an honor to have you as part of this book, and we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. So then we have Dr. Ann Worth, my good friend. She is a Christian author, counselor, and speaker. She has a mother's heart and has adopted children from all over the world. Some are the four-legged kind. Her books include Call Me Worthy and Christian children's book series entitled Tessie's Tears. And Dr. Ann writes tracts and conducts workshops in schools, churches, and businesses, helping people write their personal mission statements. She volunteers for several organizations that give marginalized people a second chance. She shares God's love with whoever she can, as often as she can, and wherever she can. And you can go to her website, which will give you, this is one of her latest little things that she put together. And I'm so glad that I had a part in this, because it's a message of hope for people who feel hopeless. This is for women who feel hopeless. She's doing a lot of good work out there. Dr. Ann, thank you so much for joining me. It's always good to have a chat with you. You're muted. Amanda Beth Johnson is no stranger to conversations that make a difference either. She's an intuitive healer, spiritual guide, and catalyst for transformation. Known for her ability to hold sacred space and channel profound inner clarity, she supports soul-led individuals in reconnecting to their power, purpose, and peace. Through her holistic approach, Amanda helps you align your energy, trust your inner wisdom, and rise into the next evolution with grace. If you're ready to return to your truth and live from a place of grounded magic, well, that's an interesting phrase, grounded magic. I like that. Connect with Amanda and explore her offerings, and we'll give you her website as well. Amanda, good to have you here again.
Oh, it's always an honor to be here, and with all these great people. This is just such a timeless movement in your daily gift series. So
yeah, thank you. So the series, we'll talk for a second about the series, started with a daily gift of gratitude. Then we went to a daily gift of hope. Then we went to a daily gift of kindness. And now we are at a daily gift of peace. And I believe that there is no coincidence in the order in which these things took place, because one leads to the next, leads to the next, leads to the next. And we are at the place where we want to discuss the concept and the power of peace. So without further ado, I'm going to go to Andi. Andi, you wrote the foreword for this. When I put this book together, I thought, who would be the perfect person? Now, I know you for a while, and I'm all on board your mission, because I believe that trafficking is modern day slavery in many ways, and it's not just about the sex trade. It's about all the things that are going on with people being forced to do work and things that they would not normally do, especially the children. Mm-hmm. So I thought, I have the perfect person to write this. Your story is such that you lived a horror as a child. And how did you come to find peace after all that you've been through? And you can talk a little bit about your journey. And I want everybody to read this. You can't, nothing I say will give it the power that it has when you read it. So be sure that you get your copy of this book, Daily Gift of Peace. And by the way, they're all on Amazon today for $10. So go ahead and buy one for yourself and give one to somebody else. So talk to me about how you, first of all, why did you say yes? And secondly, can you tell a little bit about your story?
Well, okay. First things first, when you called and asked me, I thought, wow, I'm not even famous. Are you sure you want me to do this? Because your book deserves a lot of exposure. But I was so honored, and I said yes because it was you. And I felt really passionate about peace because basically, I came out of a world since conception in my life that was not peaceful. And, the short story is that I did in the early 60s, from ages 6 months to 17 years old, I was trafficked by all immediate family members and some extended family members. They didn't know at that time, there was no term. They didn't know they could make money off of it. So I tell people, trafficking is driven usually by two things: perversion and or money. We hear about the money all the time. So my birth mother was the orchestrator of all evil. By the time I was 5, that was my first attempt at suicide. And God met me there on the curb of my house as I waited for a car to be coming by fast enough, because I thought, if I'm dead, they can't touch me. They can't hurt me. They can't lock me up for months at a time. I will be able to be free by being dead. But, God always intercedes. And so I heard this voice in my heart, and it was so gentle, so resonant. And he said, "This is not the plan I have for you. Suicide is not the answer." And for whatever reason, after not having anybody in my life that would ever rescue me, I trusted that voice. And his voice called me, literally. He called me to do what I do now, even though I didn't know I'd be doing it way back then. And it wasn't easy. I want people who are listening to know. I had 2 more attempts because at 8 and 9, the abuse and the torture was so bad. Jumping out of a window or slicing my wrist just sounded like a better option. At 17, that was the last time my birth mother tried to kill me. So all those years, God was with me, even though people say, well, why would God let that happen? Well, he didn't let it happen. He gave humans free will, and free will can do good, it can do evil, or it can do nothing. 2 of those aren't good options. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about peace and forgiveness, I had 0 peace, but I pursued peace because as I grew in my relationship with God, I wanted to know what that felt like. Yeah. And I know that the only way that could have happened would be when he asked me to forgive the predators. And I'm like, what? I don't think so. Not me. You're going to have to do that on your own, God. Why would I do that? But, again, that voice waited and said, because it's not for them, it's for you. Yeah. And when you forgive, and it's not easy, and it doesn't mean you still don't hurt or have grief. It just means that you're released to receive blessings and healing and hope and those things that I wanted to pursue. So it was in stages, but yes, he forgave them through me. And in doing that, I was able to build a life and create a new normal and learn a lot of things that I had missed out on. And then decide that, I want to help kids that were like me. Yeah. And put myself through law school and decided that's not the justice. I want God's justice for these kids.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Powerful. And we were talking before we went live about the power of forgiveness. And many people know that this show is airing right after the memorial for Charlie Kirk. And I was so moved by Erica when she stood up and she talked about having forgiven the person who shot her husband. And it's not for anyone else, but it's for you. It's forgiveness is for you because it frees you from the insanity that rolls around in your head and the insanity that you could create in your own life being this non-forgiving person. It's I think it's a really powerful tool to wholeness as an individual, for your soul, for your body, mind, spirit, soul. Absolutely. So
absolutely. Yeah. Can I add just one more thing for anyone else listening? In the forgiveness part, there is justice and there is a way that happens, but that's up to God. We don't have to worry about what happens to the evil people. Mm-hmm. It's up to God to deal with them. And that in itself is like, hey, I don't have to worry about it. There is nothing I can think of that I could do to those people that God could not have a greater wrath for. So anyway, so that's also a way to be free. And there's always an angel looking into the eyes of God for every child out there. So he knows.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the courage it took for you to write this story. And I appreciate you more than you know. Yeah. Thank you.
Love you
Dr.
too.
John Falcone, you said yes to the afterword. As you know, I've been reading your book. I read your book, and it's powerful, powerful, powerful messages in there. Your powerful experience that you've had. A lot of you've got a roller coaster ride of emotions, having served the way that you did, and you said gratitude brings peace through the storms of life. So, can you talk to me about what you wrote in the afterword for this book, please?
I have to say that when Teresa asked me to write the afterwards, to say that I was very surprised is an understatement. I met Teresa through a mutual friend and who had read my manuscript and offered to give it to Teresa. But I accepted it because it's an incredible honor, and I believe in the process, and I believe in what we're doing. I think it's so important to get the word out to people. Mm-hmm. Then I read Andi's forward, and I thought, oh my God, how am I going to follow this? It was such a beautiful, elegant, profound, and insightful and honest forward. I thought, there's no possible way I'm going to, be able to do this. But so I took it to heart, and I started to basically, I just started to write, and I started from principles that I believe I try to live my life through. And I think that we are defined by who we are through adversity. And that's what I mean by gratitude comes from the storm, because when you go through a storm, it is probably the most difficult part. But when you get through it, you come to understand why you went through it and how you grow from it. And to me, the sense of peace is a sense of acceptance, a sense of contentment. And the way, in my experience, to arrive at that point is to practice gratitude. And it's something that I've carried with me even since the war, before the war. And I realized as I was writing that afterward that the principles I wrote in the afterword were principles I wrote in my manuscript, because they're principles I've used throughout my life and in my career. And I talk about in the afterword about looking at the earth from 100,000-mile view and what you can see. And then it's like you're looking at the face of God and you see all this beauty and magnificence. And the thing is that where you're in a point of stress or you're in a point of despair, you're looking at the world through a microscope. And you're not seeing God's effect on your life. You're not seeing God's effect on the world. All you see is your problems. And it's like having blinders, so to speak. And so once you start to look at the world for what it is and accept all the blessings that we have, whether it's this tiniest thing versus something really serious. And I have been blessed through work because I see what happens to people and the tragedies that they have to deal with, and the courage that people live by in order just to get through life. And then we are so blessed that we have no idea. And by looking at those blessings, I get that perspective, and then just brings me a sense of peace. And the thing that I find difficult is that most people, when you tell them this, and even with my patients, I try to tell them a story, and I'll tell you 90% of them don't listen to what I have to say, because they have this perspective that any problem they have can be fixed by a pill, which couldn't be further from the truth. But people don't understand that people who get through it, people who find success, or people who find peace, and people who live in gratitude, it really does work. But when they hear it, a lot of them believe that it can't possibly happen for them. And there's nothing further from the truth. I mean, if you practice it and you start looking at the world from a different perspective, it changes your life, and it changes your perspective on life.
Exactly. I'm a big proponent of gratitude. Keeping a gratitude journal. I've done that for years and years and years, because I went through a horrific marriage with a very abusive man. And I was like, why did this happen? Well, I know why it happened, because when God told me not to marry him, I didn't listen. Right? Because I didn't listen. So I thought all of what I was going through was punishment. And the only way I could start to make peace with myself and with the situation is to find things that I was grateful for, and it redirects the focus. So you take the focus off the problem, and then you're able to step into, through the process of having gratitude, it builds hope, so that you can then change your situation, change how you show up in any situation. Because let's face it, we can't control anybody else besides ourselves, right? So in order for us, I love that you took the gratitude the gratitude concept through what you wrote and the afterword. That is one of my my favorite topics, and having gratitude every day will change your day. If you've been through something, just as a side note here, if you've been through something that you're feeling like crap when you go to bed the night before and you want to wake up to a better day, find 3 things that you're grateful for before your feet hit the floor. Right. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, and you see tragedy day in and day out, regardless of what part of the world you're in. And for you to be able to bring this conversation to conclude the book, I think it brings it full circle to the reader. So thank you so much for what you shared here and in the book. Make sure, I'm going to say it again, make sure you get your copy of this book, because it's loaded with a whole bunch of really good information and great stories. We're going to have to take a break for just a minute. And when we come back, we're going to talk to our other 2 authors who are here with us today, Amanda Beth and Dr. Ann Worth. And we'll come back for a bigger conversation after that. So we'll be right back. And we're back with several of the authors from A Daily Gift of Peace, which is the 4th book in the Daily Gift book series. And just so that you know, all of the books, I think what we were just talking about, starting with gratitude, the first one was gratitude, second one was hope, then kindness, and now peace. They play off of each other. One, gratitude opens the door for hope, which opens the door for you to be a kinder individual, which now brings us to a place of peace. There's no coincidence that it's all coming together. This next one is going to be Daily Gift of Friendship, and we're going to put that out for Thanksgiving this year. So if you have a story and you want to know more, just go to the dailygiftbookseries.com for the information on how you can submit a story for that book. Speaking of friendship, I invited a good friend of mine, Dr. Ann Worth, to come to the table today and talk about her story that she wrote in A Daily Gift of Peace. Ann has had an interesting life. She has come to me. We met in an unlikely way, going back many years ago now. It seems like what is it, almost 10 years now? It's crazy. But she shouldn't have been there. She wasn't supposed to be there at the time that I was there, but things happened to make her be there at the same time, and we hit it off as friends, and the rest is history. She has a really good children's book series called Tessie's Tears, which helps children deal with loss, whether it's the passing of a grandparent, or the loss of a friend moving away, or even the loss of a puppy. And she speaks incredibly well to people who can learn from her story in order to be able to have a better way to get through their story. And I commend you for all that you do, Dr. Ann, regardless of how many years she adds to her life. She's got more energy than most people I know. So, Dr. Ann, talk to me about your story for Daily Gift of Peace, and a little bit about what you're doing in the world to help change the lives of people who are struggling through their own situations.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Well, I can hear a feedback.
You just talk.
Okay. I appreciate it, Andy, what you said, because I couldn't find peace, because I never felt safe. And I'm sure you can relate to that. The peace that I find now, in our humanness, with everything going on, with aging and what's going on in the world. Gosh, can you all really understand me? Because I can hear a lot of echo.
We've got all the mics muted, so we're doing the best we can, Ann.
Okay, all right. So I sought every way, including going to good rooms, meditating, learning, praying, but until I met Jesus and had peace, I didn't know what peace was. And I think it's so interesting. With everything he could have left for his disciples, he said, "My peace I leave with you." And so that is the peace I can. I have a recliner, which I didn't have until I was 80 years old. And now I have my waiting chair. So in the morning, I wait to get my whole pass for the day or for more days. So you ask me what I'm doing. I'm writing a new track for men in prison. And I've just written one for men recovery, which is its own type of prison. And I love to speak to treatment centers, recovery people. I have been clean and sober for 40 years. And so that gave me a lot of peace. But at 55, I still have an emptiness in me that I found through God. And it's like Andy said, I had a voice that said, "Come to me, and I will never leave you or forsake you." And I had the Father that I never had before. So I feel safe. In fact, I'm just starting a new Facebook community group, and it's called
You muted yourself now.
I think,
There you are.
but I'm still getting the group that I'm starting is called S.A.E. S.F.E. Spells that. But I'm asking people, what do those letters mean to you? Because safety means something different for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it's saved, adored, forgiven, and embraced.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing that I said, strong and able, and so I think that'll be a wonderful question to ask people what those letters mean to them.
That's a good conversation to have, I'm sure. So let's talk about what you wrote here in Daily Gift of Peace.
Well, it's similar to what I just said.
Mm-hmm.
I read in Corinthians, we have everything we need.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I have everything I need. I'm not going to run a marathon. I'm not going to end the war. I'm not going to turn back the clock. So I thought, I have everything I need to do what? So, and I asked some other people, you have everything you need. And the young person said to graduate, a mother said to be a good mother. I have everything I need to write a book. But my personal answer is not about a worldly accomplishment. It's the deepest desire of my life to be at peace.
Yeah.
To be at peace in my mind, to be at peace about age, to be at peace about the future. And so I have everything I need to be at peace because God gave me that gift.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Powerful, powerful, powerful. And I thank you for sharing. And one of the things that you wrote in here is pull yourself up by your bootstraps, Anne. You're responsible for attaining what you want. If you don't have what you want, it's your fault. What's wrong with me? Regardless of what I did, I remained in a state of stress and worry. And you have certainly found your way out of that. And thank you for bringing hope to some people who may be experiencing the same thing that you talked about in your story and what you shared here right now. Thank you so much for being part of this book. You're also in some of the other books that started this whole thing. I think you're in Daily Gift of Gratitude. Thank you for participating and for sharing your heart with the rest of us. We appreciate you.
I would add, you mentioned thinking 3 things you're grateful for. I write 5 things every morning that I'm grateful for. And I noticed this morning I was at 880 in this book. So just keep going.
And keep going. Keep going. So thank you, Anne. Amanda, Miss Amanda Beth Johnson. I am excited to have you in yet another Daily Gift book. You have been a faithful contributor to the series. You want to talk about what you wrote about and a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Oh, goodness. So the timing of the book, we talked about, is just absolutely amazing. And it dovetails in with a lot of the work that I do with people. And we talk about, quieting all the noise, all that chatter. And I really believe that we have everything that we need inside ourselves, and that we need to turn within ourselves, and God is within us as well. And we need to turn there and tune out the chatter, because you have everything you need, and you need to. Peace is something that I believe that comes from within us. You can't buy it at the grocery store at $5.99 a pound or more. You can't. And I think that how we define what peace is, world peace, global peace, that those sound so magical, but if we don't know what peace is for us in our own hearts and our own being, we can't begin to project that. And I'm a really big follower of the work of Dr. David Hawkins, much of which comes from Carl Jung, that, we create what we're doing. And if we don't turn inside and we don't create our own level of peace and our own vibration of peace, then we can't in turn expect that from the world, from our neighbors, from our family, from within our own home, if we don't project that peace first. And so the pieces that I wrote are about finding that, being your own vessel of peace, and being at peace with yourself, being at peace with the accomplishments that you've made. And, Anne talks about not completing this, or, if you don't have it, it's your own fault. It's not your, I don't feel it's at fault, because then it's indicating failure, and we're not failure until we've given up. We just keep striving. You keep pulling yourself up by those bootstraps. Find another bootstrap. So what if the last one broke? You've got another one in you.
Yeah.
And you just keep going, and you keep reaching and making it what it needs to be. And that's what I do as an intuitive healer and wellness coach. I help people to find what's inside of them. Where are those pieces that they need to reconstruct or reconfigure? None of us are broken. We're not broken. We don't need fixed. We need some healing. We need to reconfigure what we're looking at is where it is. And if you don't like what you're looking at, then you need to change your outlook. You need to find a different way to find that peace. So
exactly. You ask 2 important questions here. You say, ask yourself, what does peace truly feel like in my body, in my energy? And what if I let this feeling guide me through my day?
Again, it's what you define. When
Yeah.
you're looking at your mother, your brother, your sister, your friend's definition of peace, it does not fit you.
Mm-hmm.
What is your definition of peace?
Mm-hmm.
And when you find it, you cherish it and you feel it and you let that lead you. And then
Right.
you're going to spread more. As you raise your vibes, everybody else around you raises theirs.
Because we're all connected, right?
We are. This whole mass consciousness.
Yeah.
You know, if we all take our own ownership in raising our vibration from within, not finding it externally, because we can't rely on that. You can only count on yourself, and that with what is within you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Exactly. I would like you to just take a minute to talk about the healing power of the salt pods.
oh, the salt pods. Yes. So I have a float center. It is the sensory deprivation, rest therapy. On average, 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt dissolved in 100 gallons of water, heated up to skin temperature. And that is one of the first places that I think I found peace. You are in dark and silence. And for many people, the idea of spending 90 minutes alone with your thoughts is just scary. And it is at first. But as you learn to calm your mind and get rid of all that external stimulus, you really do find that peace, that calm, and that quiet and stillness. And so that's, if you've never floated, I encourage you to find a float center. They're all over the world. I'm here in Southeast Iowa, not a whole lot of folks around here, but find a float center, go float. If you've got concerns about your first float, call me. I will talk you through it. Give yourself 3 floats to decide if it's for you or not. It's great for physical ailments and stuff, but it's so amazing at just resetting the mind, giving your brain a rest. We think too much. We check too much.
Exactly. We think too much. And by the way, that somebody's mentioned about the noise. You did. I think you did, Amanda. I call that chatter that goes on in the head. And we're going to have to go to a break. The itty bitty shitty committee. So take that with you into the break and see if you can quiet that down and come back for the third segment. We'll be right back. And we're back, and we're enjoying a conversation with some of the authors in A Daily Gift of Peace, the 4th book in the Daily Gift book series. Just so that you know, coming up, we have a Daily Gift of Friendship, and we would like that. How many people have Friendsgiving instead of Thanksgiving with your family today, for travel reasons or whatever? So what a great thing to literally bring to the table at Thanksgiving, and to share stories of friendship and the power of friendship in your life. And then we are also going to put together a book called A Daily Gift for a Peaceful Journey Through Cancer. Who doesn't know someone who has gone through that terrible C word, right? So this is to bring hope to people who are either in the fight, people who are caring for them, caretakers, family, friends, to bring uplifting stories to people who are going through the process, or have gone through the process, or have come out the other side, rang the bell, as they say, and had whatever the experience is. It's to bring hope and healing, physically, well, emotionally, because all these things are connected. So if you can be emotionally well, chances are your body will heal faster than somebody who is in the crazies, in the committee. So those are the 2 things that are coming, and then I've got a list as long as my arm for the next books. So I hope that all of you in this conversation today will consider being part of whatever comes next. And so let's talk to Dr. John. Let's talk to you a little bit more about your book that's coming up. I know that it is it's your experience through the Gulf War. And it's got there's a lot in there. Your journey is laid out, circumstances, situations that have brought you to this place of being able to tell the story and then ultimately share a portion of it in this book that's here. So you want to talk a little bit about that? Make sure you unmute yourself before you talk. Thank you.
Actually, I muted myself that time, but I had a good friend that I shared the manuscript with, and after he read it, he came back to me and said, Jen, I loved your book, but it took you 142 pages to go to war. And I explained to him my book is a book about war. It's not a war book. And it really is a book about peace. And it's a book about humanity. And it's a book of how we can connect with each other. We can connect with our enemies. We can connect with people who are supposedly our enemies. And you realize when you connect at a human level, what that means, and then you see with the real implication of war. War is insane. I mean, we have to understand that we should never go to war unless we absolutely have to. If someone attacks us, you have to defend your family, you have to defend your home, you have to defend your country. It's one thing, and I will do that, and I'll defend the truth forever. But to go into another country or to go somewhere for the sake of whatever political reason, and then to really see what the aftermath of that is, it's unbelievable. And war affects everyone. It affects you. It affects the people around you. There's that collateral damage, whether it's either external or internal, it's always there. And it's something that I felt really strongly about. I felt it on my heart for many, many years. And I kept a journal when I was there, and thank God for that, because it's very intimate. That journal was very detailed, and I was able to go places what I would never have remembered, because you compartmentalize things. When you go through trauma, you put those places in rooms that you don't want to walk into. And it was difficult for me to write that book because I found myself going back into those situations and opening those doors. And it took me a while to be able to find peace through it. And the book itself was actually a catharsis because of that. But it was something on my heart, and it's something I felt that I had to get it out, and sort of called so that people can hear the message about who we are and how we need to reach each other as human beings. And I drew a parallel from the Gulf War to the wars we were fighting in 2020 with COVID and what it did to the world, and how it separated and divided us either through our ideology or physically. And we have to reach beyond our ideology and understand who we are as human beings. And once you do that, the world changes. Once you recognize the person standing in front of you as a human being, that we have the same emotions, the same desires, we have families. And once you see that, there's that communication, which is always there. And when you go to war, you do everything to deprive yourself of that sense, because if you look at your enemy, their goal is to kill you and you kill them. And that's when I talk about shelter from the storm, I talk about that oasis within that, that tent where we were treating our enemy. And thank God, 85% of the casualties were our enemy, were the Iraqis. But we treated them as if they were our own once they came in there. But by the same token, if we had stepped outside of that tent and we're facing each other, we're shooting each other.
Yeah.
And that's a dilemma behind war. So I hope the message is that people see through their own prejudice, their own ideology, understand that we need to come together instead of being divided.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons that this book is so powerful, and your book is so powerful, to be able to set aside who we are in the world's eyes and really look at who we are, human beings. As you just said, when you've got somebody on your table, your operating table, it doesn't matter who they are in terms of what their color is, what their religion is, what country they were born in. Your goal is just to be able to, in one way or another, repair the body so that they can live a better life coming after whatever it was that got them to your table in the first place. And thank you so much for your service. Thank you for writing this. I appreciate you, and so will everybody else whose hands are laid on this book. So thank you, John.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Miss Andi, do you want to talk about what you have coming up this weekend?
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, we are having finally our very first Voices of Courage Award Gala in Jersey City, New Jersey. Hi, you all are welcome to come last minute if you like. It's Saturday, September 27th at the Liberty Science Center. So we're very excited. We had COVID and we had other things that delayed us, but we are honoring everyday heroes, so like John and like many of us here for different reasons. But Teresa is also being honored with a Voice of Courage Award for a lot of reasons too. So our goal is to show people that you can be your own voice of courage in your own community, in your own church, in your state, in your country, whatever, your village, your town. But some of these folks have gone the distance. And when Voices Against Trafficking first started, we had quite a number of them that just rallied and said, we're in, what do we need to do? You know, we're the hub, and then the spokes are individuals and companies and nonprofits and legislators. But the hub is where we have the most strength, along with the spokes. The bigger the wheel, the more powerful it is, and the further we can go. So that event we are very excited to have, and coming right after our release of our third book, Voices of Courage, or rather Voices Against Trafficking, Courage is Contagious. We're so blessed that God made that an international bestseller, and now we're just trying to figure out what does that mean exactly. But you know, we're just going to keep going, and then Gift of Peace, the Daily Gift of Peace book. I mean, just so timely, as everyone has said, because there's contentiousness in every family and every situation. Wherever you have humans, there's always going to be something that's unsettling, and peace really is, as well as gratitude. I agree with that. I can't wait to, I just got the book. I want to read your afterward, John, because we have to be grateful. There always is joy in the day. Sometimes it's hard to find. But we can, if we look harder, if we're really intentional about finding it, we can find the joy and we can find the gratitude.
Yes. Powerful. Thank you, Andi. I'm looking forward to going on Saturday. And what I'm looking forward to more than anything else is giving you a big hug.
Right back at you, sister.
Yeah. So I am excited about that, and I'm just so grateful for all the work that you're doing to help people who have been victims of this horrific way. And I'm also grateful that you're going to be joining us again. The next show that we have on October 7th, Andi's going to be back with some people to talk about this particular topic. People want to sweep it under the rug, not us. We want to get it out there. We want to talk loudly about what's going on. So the more you know, the more you can be a change agent for somebody who may be stuck in a world of insanity. Let's say insanity. I could come up with a couple of other words, but I'm not going to do that. So I might burn somebody's ears.
Well, close enough. Yeah, it is insane.
Exactly. Amanda, what final words do you have for this conversation? We have a few minutes left. We're coming up to the close of this time. It goes so fast. I don't know where the hour goes.
I'm just going to read just a sentence from mine, because I think it sums it up well. And that there is a sacred rhythm moving within you. Peace is not a reward for doing more or being perfect. It's a birthright and an inner sanctuary, always available no matter your circumstances. And I think that that's what I've heard from every one of us here is when the chips are down and the world feels so impossible, we retreat back into ourselves and we find that inner peace. And from there, we're rebuilding. So I just encourage everyone to find that inner spot and really rebuild. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's what we need to do.
Now, did you say peace is like a river or a ribbon?
A rhythm.
Oh, rhythm.
Rhythm.
I heard river, and in my head, I'm hearing that song, "All Is Well with My Soul." You know, when peace like a river extendeth my way, when sorrow like sea billows roll. Whatever my lot thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. Maybe peace is a river.
Yeah, maybe. So, and I have a book coming out as well. I think I'm saving it closer to first of the year written between the lines. So the second book.
Yeah, and I'm excited for that as well. I'm excited for that as well. Miss Anne, what final words do you have besides my terrible off-key singing right now?
Well, it made me think of another song. Let there be peace, and let it begin with me.
Amen. Mm-hmm.
And I have a book that we did mention. The title is Call Me Worthy, because I could never feel worthy.
Mm-hmm. But you do now. You do now. So, and that's what peace will do to you. It will bring you to a place of knowing that, every single one of us was put here for a reason. Whatever that reason is, some of us may know, some of us may not know. Dr. John is here to help people heal physically through his skills that he came here with. Andy has, oh my goodness, you have got even through all the horrors that you lived through, you have got compassion like somebody that I can't even imagine how you came to a place of being the compassionate, loving, kind warrior that you are. And you are a warrior. And each one of us is a warrior. We have that in us. And Amanda, you are an advocate for peace, inner peace, regardless of whether it's inside, outside, upside down, or whatever. It's and Dr. Ann, your story is, Call Me Worthy. I had the honor of editing that book. This woman has come through a tremendous number of trials, a tremendous number of things that would normally keep somebody down. But here you are. I'm going to make it. You can proudly tell everybody how old you are.
83.
And still making a difference in the world, and one person at a time. And she just is one foot in front of the other, walking out her purpose,
on my walker.
Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And I believe that can be followed up with, he gives us everything we need in order to be able for that to manifest itself during our journey on this earth. So with that being said, I'm going to say it again. Go buy the book. Go buy the book. All of the entire series is on sale for $10 a piece. You can just go to Amazon.com and get them. They make great gifts. And if you have a story, more than that, we want to hear your voice. We want to hear your voice, and how you can bring your story to a daily gift book series in friendship, the peaceful gift for a peaceful journey through cancer, or anything else that's coming up in the future. And there will be many. And I encourage you, go to dailygiftbookseries.com and see how you can participate in the next book going forward. So with that being said, we are at the end of our hour, and I am so grateful for each and every one of you to bring your voice and your story into this series. And I just pray that somebody's lives, I don't even have to, I pray that the people who need to hear exactly what was written by whoever wrote it, find it, and that it makes a difference in their life, and that the conversations that they are having will shift to be able to make a difference in somebody else's life as well. So I always say this, until next time, let every conversation that you have, even with yourself, make a difference. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.
That brings us to the close of another episode of Conversations That Make a Difference with host Teresa Velardi. We want to sincerely thank you for tuning in and sharing your time with us today. Our greatest hope is that today's discussion inspired your personal growth, encouraged you to share your unique gift, and gave you the courage to write your own magnificent story. If this message resonated with you, let's keep the conversation going. Take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on our Conversations That Make a Difference Facebook page. This will ensure you never miss a moment of inspiration. We air new episodes every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It truly helps us reach and empower more people. Until next time, keep making a difference. We look forward to welcoming you back next Tuesday to our next conversation.